What a year 2020 has been, hasn't it? I mean, whew. "2020 has been perhaps one of the most boring years of my life." And I'm sure you've all been the same. You know, we've all been on lockdown. We've not been able to mix with friends. We've not been able to talk face to face with people about whether it be intellectual things and spiritual things, or it be just plain gossip. You just can't. It's all trapped in us all. You know, we're all in this energy state that has just been so awful. But we're at the end of the virus soon. But, you know, it's been an interesting year in many other ways. I mean, it's been like the most boring Armageddon you could possibly imagine in many respects, isn't it? I mean, we've had political problems all around the world. We've had one of the worst viruses since the Spanish flu. We've had economic problems that have absolutely tanked the world economies. We've had corruption exposed all over the place. We've had all sorts of strange stuff going on in the background. We've had, God knows, you just name it. 2020 has been an absolutely chaotic year, and yet we've all been on lockdown. And I don't know about you, no matter how spiritual you are, ultimately you do find there's going to be periods of total boredom, you know. So anyway, out of it, Jane and I tried to keep going and tried to keep having a good time despite the lockdown. So I'm going to show you a few of the little clips from the year of us, you know, going out and about, just the ordinary lives that have happened during this period of time. It's a little review of the personal side of Jane and myself. And, you know, when you sort of can't do anything, and the best thing you can do is go out and, before the lockdown, when there's social distancing, for example, go and get some fish and chips, you know, and sit alone in the park. So there's the first video. You'll see a little bit of that, and all the other little things of just finding places to go where there's no people around, and what to do in lockdown 2020. Hope you had a nice year. Better one to come, I think. If you look back at my earlier predictions, and in particular the predictions I made on the newspaper, The Sun's website, I did actually say on there, the actual words were, "There will be a flu epidemic linked to bioterrorism."
President Trump, I have found your ancient oracle in India. I have been researching these things for years, and I have found a 10,000-year oracle that has your name written on it. And it tells about your past, your present, and your future. I was allowed to ask 5 questions. These questions were already in the oracle, but it required me to ask them. Will Donald Trump win a second term in office? Is he in danger of being assassinated? Who will succeed him as president? What is the most important highlight of his presidency, for good or for ill? These are for your ears only, but I'm going to give a few hints here about what has been revealed in the oracle.
Later on, we'll be lighting that huge one that you see on the screen on my left for the world. But this Homer I have sponsored partly to dedicate towards my own family, but also I'm thinking particularly also of Mr. Prakash. You will remember that the patrons on the website raised enough money for him to have a heart operation in Chennai, and he is actually having the heart operation as this Homer is taking place. So it's kind of reinforcing in a spiritual way the charitable work that the people on the website have helped with. And it's helping my family, it's helping Mr. Prakash, and it's helping the world in general when we do these incredible fire rituals. The mantra Aro Hara is usually chanted to Murugan, who's one of the sons of Shiva. It's a shortened version of another mantra that says, God Almighty, remove our suffering and grant us salvation. I'm with a group here from London, and we're dedicating some food to the ashram to help with the Shivarati festivities.
I think the most moving, perhaps, of all the things that we've done here has been the river ceremonies, where we were taken out to what I saw as jungle, a fantastic area where it was. We walked down to the river, and at that river, Swami comes and does a ceremony. Now, most of it, I have to be honest, as a Westerner, I don't fully understand all the hidden meanings of these things. But the atmosphere of it was absolutely wonderful. Something like I would have expected thousands of years ago when people did the same thing. And we went to the river and all the mantras were said, and there was a very special sort of energy in the day that day. Something very moving and dynamic and exciting, particularly I think with the feeling of being there at 3 o'clock in the morning in a jungle setting. I mean, from the UK, how often do you do that? And I found it absolutely exhilarating. A very beautiful, moving experience. I think you feel very connected, and I think the important part of it is when you enter the water together with the guru, because it's like your energies combine. For a moment you're all together, then you duck beneath the water, just as I would have done years ago when I went to the Ganges, and there's that feeling of kind of rebirth and re-energizing, and a very uplifting personal experience for me. One of the best here, but there's so many things that catch the attention, that make you feel part of something much bigger, something that you can't experience anywhere else in the world, except in a place like this and with a guru like Sharavana. Om Sharavana Bhava.
Siberian fish and chips. I've just got a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, but it's a bit too much. Well, this looks supporting small businesses.
This is definite isolation, not a soul here, is there?
Oh, yeah, I like it like that. Relaxing for us. Martin says for a day trip. Give a break. I thought he was taking me to the Ivy, so he took me for fish and chips in Siberia. I don't know about mad Englishmen come up in the midday sun.
I find this an interesting scene here because of the industrial sort of feel of it.
Lovely.
Nice cold industrial setting.
Yeah, lovely, isn't that? Just what every girl wants on a date night. An industrial date. It's like you're going to the North Pole.
I'm going to lose my hat in a minute. I'm trying to avoid dog poo as well because it's everywhere. It's a dog walking park, isn't it? Just pop it in the back.
Oh gosh. Oh.
Well, that was quite some fish and chips.
Vigorating. Where's your
Brisk.
Englishness? Vigorating.
Embracing.
Bracing.
Bracing, that's what he used to say, didn't he?
Bracing.
God, bloody hell, like you said, it was like Siberian fish and chips.
I've got to go back. I'm in the warm now.
Yeah. No, well, it's a bit of a long way to go, but at least we got out and we
Yeah.
didn't meet anybody apart from buying the fish and chips.
The dog?
The dog came up and there's a woman in the fish and chip shop that was sort of kept coming up to people. She looked like the woman in Precious Things, you know? From,
What she want?
oh, she looked like, she really did look like that Precious Things lady, and I'm thinking, oh God, keep away from each other. People don't think.
Oh, let's go then.
All right, ready then?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Oh, away 5 minutes and Boo's got my seat. Come on, off there, that's where I'm sitting. Come on, life is suffering, Boo, off you get. Life is suffering, particularly for cats. So how's the tapestry going then?
Who?
The tapestry.
It's nearly done.
So that's all been done over this lockdown period.
Well, I'm going to call it my coronavirus 19 cushion.
Good one.
And I'm going to have it all made up into a cushion, and I'm going to start another one, and then I'm going to start doing my hanging baskets, and then I've got fresh vegetables next week. Really 1950s housewife, isn't it? Talking about that.
Yeah, I've got some tips here somewhere for 1950s housewives.
Are you going to use them for yourself then?
Well, I'll have a look at them. Hang on, I've got to find them here to see. But it is, it's a bit like living in the 1950s, isn't it? Where you go to work, come home, and that's it.
And I think the men have never done so much DIY since lockdown.
All the women so much cooking.
Yeah, I mean, you're cleaning, gardening.
Here we are, tips to look after your husband, 1950s.
Right.
1. Have dinner ready.
Well, that's not a 1950s one, because you always have your dinner ready.
But that is
It's
definitely
21st
top of the
century
list.
one.
Definitely top of the list.
See if your husband would
Plan
like,
ahead the night before.
which I do.
Have a delicious meal on time. This is a way of letting him know that you've been thinking about him and are concerned about his needs.
And what about a woman's needs?
Most men are hungry when they come home, and the prospect of a good meal is part of the warm welcome needed.
Well, welcome back to the 21st century. Nothing's changed then, has it?
So nowadays it's supposed to be a takeaway, wouldn't it?
Well, most women haven't got time to do cooking because they're working.
Prepare yourself.
Yeah, the lipstick.
Take 15 minutes to rest so you'll be refreshed when he arrives.
Oh, how wonderful.
Touch up your makeup, put a ribbon in your hair, and be fresh looking.
Fresh looking.
He's just been with a lot of work weary people.
I thought you were just going to say he's just been with another woman. And he's weary.
It says here, now, this can't be 1950. Be a little gay and a little more interesting. His boring day may need a lift.
Yes.
Yeah, poor men when they
Poor
work like
men
that.
need a lift. It's stupid.
My goodness, there's some good tips in here, Jane. You could learn some of this. Clear away the clutter.
There you are. You learn that for yourself.
Yeah. Make one last trip through the main part of the house just before your husband arrives, gathering up school books, toys, papers, etc. Then run a dust cloth over the tables. Your husband will feel he has reached a haven of rest and order, and this will give you a lift too.
Yeah. Well, in the 1950s, women that were anything, they didn't do cleaning because they had somebody that came in, a domestic,
No, not many.
and done the cooking. They did. All they had to do is fix the cocktails and that, and welcome them in, and they get everything ready. And they would, like for the day was to go out in not a haberdashery, but to go into a clothes shop to look wonderful for their husbands and that. And they had an open checkbook, I believe.
Well, I don't
Take
think
note.
that's the 1950s. I mean, this is 1950s lockdown, isn't it? This is when they couldn't have any money to go.
All right. Well,
this is ordinary people
if it's
here.
1950s
we're
lockdown,
not upper class. We're not some
if it's
swanky.
1950s lockdown, then would you like paste sandwiches?
Yeah, they
Remember
used to
those
like that.
paste? They had sandwiches.
I used to like that paste sandwich,
Well,
actually.
it
Crab
can be
paste sandwich
arranged.
was the
It can
best.
be arranged. Say no more.
There were some nice sandwiches, those paste sandwiches. I haven't had
Oh,
that.
what about Heinz 57? Do you remember those?
God, horrible. Yeah.
And Piccadilly used jam sandwiches.
Yeah, paste sandwiches were quite nice. Only tiny little
Yeah.
jars, weren't they? Nothing in it.
Yeah,
No meal in that, is there?
no.
Yeah, 1950s
And it
food.
was meat and 2 veg.
Actually, my nan used to cook fantastic food in the 1950s.
You're trying to say that I don't?
Well, actually, you're getting close to my nan's style of cooking because you're doing it with limited ingredients. You're trying to find ways to cook like they used to when they
I'm
had no
quite good
food.
cook, I think.
You're getting good at it, actually.
I'm
yeah.
very good at it. There's nothing that I'm not good at.
No, you are getting good at cooking, I must admit.
Anything else I'm good at?
It says here, encourage the woman so she thinks she's going to cook more.
No, it doesn't. You just made that up.
And the other thing you've got to do is minimise all noise. At the time of
What
his
about
arrival,
men then, when they go to the toilet? So they have
this
to
is 1950s, so you're going to learn how to do lockdown. You're going to learn how to live like they did in the 1950s, because they'd been through the war, hadn't they? So they knew how to handle these situations, air raid shelters and things. Yeah, at the time of his arrival, eliminate all noise of washers, dryers, dishwashers, or the vacuum. Good, and glad
He's
to see
not
women
God,
are doing
is
all
he?
that.
A man's not
Try
God.
to encourage the children to be quiet, be
God.
happy to see him, greet him with a warm smile, and be glad to see him.
Craig.
And turn that noisy washing machine off.
Yeah.
And get that awful ironing
Do you
board
think
out the way.
that's where it comes from, that children should be seen and not heard?
Yeah, probably. It's like living in a hotel.
Well, nothing's changed for you, is it?
Here we are, the other ones, some don'ts here. Don't greet him with problems or complaints. Now, I could definitely agree with that. Don't complain if he's late for dinner.
God.
Say keep the dinner warm, yeah.
God.
And make sure it's just right, eh?
Oh, do you know what they used to do? Another thing, if the man was late, they used to put the dinner on a plate, put a saucepan with water, boiled water, and put a plate on top of it so it's still warm for him. I remember my mother doing that.
Yeah, I can remember my granddad living like this. And in fact, it was a bit like this. Well, my mother never did it.
Didn't she?
Not really, but my nan used to with my granddad, because he'd work at the Ordnance Survey and he'd come home and expect dinner on the table. If dinner wasn't on the table, God help us. In fact, when he lived with my mum for a while, that was the problem she had. They were out working, running the restaurant, and he needed his dinner on the table. They're about to open up, you know.
You've been spoilt then by your grandmother.
And then he's off to the pub. He'd dress up in the evening, put his tie on, and the pub was only across the road. And he'd go across the pub, come back slozzled, and that was his day. Fed, watered, looked after.
That's selfish.
To the I know, terrible.
Women wouldn't put up with that. Women wouldn't put up with that today. They wouldn't.
And it says so. Don't greet him with problems, and that's a good idea. Count this as a minor compared to what he might have gone through that day.
Oh,
so he's been working hard.
Nowadays
you get loaded with it, don't you? And you get them all from Facebook as well. Everybody moans on there. It's a moaning society.
Yeah, but it's different now because men really looked after women then.
Well, they did. They did have to go to work all the time.
Yeah, but they were providers. Now women, if they want their own house, because don't forget in those times people couldn't afford houses.
Well, it was one wage
cars.
for a house, wasn't it? Not two.
Oh, well, some had to rent rooms and things. But now two people have to go out to work, don't they?
Well, make him comfortable is the next tip.
Well, you must be a real 1950s man. You're always making yourself comfortable.
These are just useful tips to help you get through it.
Ever since I've known you, in 30 years, you've laid on the settee with your feet up.
I'm the inspector of finished works.
Yes.
And so make him comfortable. Have him lean back in a comfortable chair.
Have him shot.
Or suggest he lie down in the bedroom.
Lay down in the bedroom?
Yeah, he needs a rest. He's just been at work. Have
What's
a
the
cool,
woman
warm
then?
drink ready for him.
God.
Arrange his pillow.
Arrange his pillow? Are you making that up?
These are genuine ones from the period. I've got them inside the book here. I've actually got it inside a Biggles book, actually. But I've got the notes here. This is actual stuff from the 1950s. To have a cool or warm drink ready for him, arrange his pillow, and offer to take off his shoes.
Take his shoes off, lazy git.
Some bloody good stuff in here. Speak in a low, soft, soothing and pleasant voice.
Right.
Allow him to relax and unwind.
Craig, would you like a cocktail? Yes, Jane. Smack. Hip hip hooray.
Hip hip hurrah!
Oh. She's right down the corner. She's over there.
There's just so much bird sound at the moment in the gardens, it seems. The only place they don't nest, of course, is in the dovecot.
Boo, leave those birds alone. Come on, get down. You're a naughty cat. Leave those birds alone. Come on. Boo. Come here, you. Right, shall we go for a walk?
That'd be great.
Let's go and have a look down that piece of land where we were going to get that centre set up originally.
That'd be great.
You know how to get there, it's not far from here.
No.
Okay, just go and have a look then.
Let's go. It's lovely, isn't it? Can you hear the birds singing?
Yeah, it's nice.
Oh, it's really lovely. Everybody's got all their hanging baskets out. This is lovely living in countryside.
So this here,
Up further.
no, this would have been part of the field, but we were buying the land on, wasn't it? Because that was part of it.
I think it's the woods. That's
No, it was
why.
the woods, but this too. This was part of the land. It had this field, yeah. This field and that.
It's too swampy there.
Because this is for people watching. We were going to buy this piece of land that's to our right here. For what? How much was it? £75,000,
Yes,
including all the woodlands, which we wanted to set a centre up. You know, this is what our plan was. So my thoughts was that the bit of we've got to keep social distance here. We'll walk over to there, Jane. We can talk about it here. So the plan was, there's no planning permission on any of this whatsoever. There's no planning permission whatsoever on this to build, so that's good. But I thought we could have built a temporary wooden structure, because you'd have been able to build a wooden structure as long as it's got no foundations across there, and then use all the rest. I thought about putting pods.
What?
You know, pods where people can
Yeah.
meditate. So
But
you have an
what
area where you do mediumship
But
and
what I was
teaching.
going to do is set it up for children if parents came for a weekend retreat and have like fairies and have it all mystical,
Yeah.
so children could enjoy it, and then you could have like little fairy house and sit in, because you
Yeah,
like
that would be good.
meditation and
That would be good.
and teaching them about nature.
And I thought, well, when I went to Rishikesh, they had these meditation pods in what used to be sorry,
the tractor coming.
they used to have meditation pods. And I thought, well, what you do is you teach people in the centre.
It's the tractor.
It's all right, he's not going to come round here. You teach people in the centre, and then you put, then you can send them. They learn the lessons here, and then they can go out and you have tree houses and pods and meditation areas. Work all right in nice weather like this, but not so good when it's wet.
Oh, I thought I was going
Yeah, I said he wouldn't go by. But so it's still got to be kept as farmland, this now. So he must have been the one that owned it. I thought this land came with it, this part. Yeah, we better not talk about it. We're thinking of buying his land.
I'm surprised that some people have the horses here, because I viewed it and it was quite, nobody was interested in it, were they?
Well,
As such.
the thing is, over there, when you actually look round it, I don't know how much you've walked around it, but it's full. It's all mud.
It's marshland.
It's marshland, mud, and
You'd have to have wooden walkways.
yeah, that's what I thought. And high walkways, so you can walk through the top.
You could have the tree houses.
So I said tree houses, but tree houses for adults. It's where you go to meditate. You know, I think it would be fantastic, particularly as it's so quiet around here, and it's so close to our house and land and town rather. So if anybody wanted hotels, they could stay easily, cheap, and even you know, they've even got bed and breakfast type places in Eastleigh too, haven't they? So they could easily get to here. But it's very overgrown, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think there's a house right at the bottom would have been very good. We could have bought that as well for a retreat.
But we're talking in past tense because someone offered to put the money up for this.
somebody that I helped.
Someone that Jane helped and made them a great deal of money, in many millions of pounds.
27 million.
Yeah, and backed out.
Once they got the money.
Yeah. So promises. But we've got lots of course people coming and talking who have helped in other ways. But we're talking quite big money when we want to do the first centre. But fantastic. See, that's what. Let's have a quick look at the landscape in there, shall we? We can go down there.
But there's no snakes here.
No, it won't be snaky area. But if you look at it, Jane, look how muddy it is. I mean, massively muddy.
Yeah, but I would have done like a bridge with these walkways. You build all. I've seen it, like wooden things, so it's sort of quite mystical.
Well, that's what, and I'd build up on sticks, so it's all on stilts. You know, wooden structures like watchtowers.
You'd want it natural like this anyway.
But this is what's good about it, isn't it? The only snag I think people would have you were meditating here, mosquitoes. Because there's a lot of them.
Or crazy men.
Yeah. Weirdos too.
Looking for horses now.
VE Day during coronavirus lockdown. Let's go and see what Jane's got prepared in the garden for us for our cream tea on VE Day. Looks good. Oh, so you got it all ready then?
Yeah.
I didn't know you finished.
Me as a butler.
Oh, that's good.
It's tea and cakes at the Ritz.
This is our VE Day then, is it? Yeah.
Yes, our VE day. Afternoon tea and cakes.
It's our VA cinema. God. Chandeliers.
She's laughing.
I didn't know you'd set it all up.
Yes.
I see you dressed for the occasion too.
Yes.
Right. You've put a scone on the.
Jane says.
Tea.
Yes.
Here we go.
Jane called me and she made some scones. I've taken one out of there. It's nice, isn't it, this? Do you feel relaxed?
Yeah, kind of.
What do you mean, kind of?
Well, I've been busy out there trying to do some editing on something. I was trying to get it done so I could get out here in time. So
Oh,
the brain's
sweet.
running too fast.
Oh.
That's brilliant. This is my bit, Jane. Doodlebug coming over.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. He's eccentric.
It's all right. It's one of ours. It's one of ours.
Helen? Oh, yeah. I recognise him. You remember
good.
Helen, don't you? It's married to Roy. It's married to Roy.
Oh,
Jane's mum.
I think I. Oh, yes, I do. Yeah.
I made her
Oh,
walk all the
blimey.
way up here.
Sorry.
I'm gonna walk.
Just see what else is up here. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. So it's a good idea, apart from the midges.
What are those about?
I think you've got this farmland around here, isn't it? Wonder, they might not be midges, they might
There's
just be
lots of people, isn't there, to say
what you made.
tomato and cheese, and then we're going to strawberries and cream. I've got flask of tea and crisp.
You brought the papers too. Just trying to take in where we are kind of are. We're kind of at a 1, 2, 3, We're on a roundabout, basically, aren't we? You know, kind of, really, isn't it? It's a roundabout, you know.
A spiritual roundabout.
Yeah, I always used to sneer at people that had picnics on roundabouts, but it's the only place we've been able to stop. It's not really, it's all farmers' gates and things, isn't it? And car parks full of people because you can't social distance there. Amy's saying about parking on a roundabout, and two others have come along and parked on the roundabout too. They headed for the same spot. I suppose there's nowhere to park. That's the problem. It's all hedgerows, isn't it? But it's a totally empty environment.
You can even go for a walk down the lane.
It's the there's a few good tracks along here. There's the South Downs Way. It probably runs along this way somewhere. In fact, I think it's behind us, the South Downs Way somewhere. That runs all the way from Winchester, I think, right down to the coast and then right down to Brighton. No, the Clarendon Way runs from Winchester. No, it goes right. No, it does. It goes right from Winchester. No, it goes right from Winchester. You can walk it with the Gurkhas over 2 days and nights.
Go on then, bye.
Actually, I wouldn't mind doing that. They have stations all the way along, so you can walk on it. You know, so you've got places you can stop for a cup of tea and ablutions. So that would suit me.
What would suit you?
Ablution stops.
I'd say so, right? Just for the charm of the countryside. For a walk.
They're not there.
No, it's only one person, a lady.
Right.
You want strawberries and fruit?
Yes, I will. Not much you can say, really, is there? Very nice, very, very nice. Very, very, very nice. Suppose I better read my book. While the Gods Play.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, very good. All about Shiva.
All about play.
And some strange and interesting ideas as well.
But then this is a better book than that. The World's Greatest Psychics, and
Oh,
I
you're
happen to
reading
be in
right,
it.
yeah, we're both in it. Yeah, I remember.
Why'd you say both?
Because
There
the
you
author
go.
rang me.
There.
Ah, forgot about that book.
So that's a really good book.
Someone
the
else wrote
World's
that,
Greatest
not us.
Psychics, and it doesn't lie.
Nostradamus at the top, though. I should be at the top.
I think you're on the one with hits and misses.
yeah, good one. What I'm reading's good, though.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Can you see us? Yes, we are live. Good. We're live. We're live.
Oh,
We're
good.
done. Thank goodness. Okay, we're over there, Jane. I
Oh,
think.
we're over there now.
Yeah, over there.
To there.
Okay, we're live, and hi everybody again, and welcome to the channel.
Yeah.
Well, hello everyone.
Hello,
It's us again.
and welcome to my front room.
And we are live, Jane.
Are we?
We are live indeed. Just when Boo is about to jump up on the table
He's got all
any
his toys
moment
over
now.
there.
So we're looking down under the table. So I'm here with my brother in his garden, right? Lovely place. And Ian, my brother, is an artist. But he has a very special form of art that he likes to do, which is to take... It's kind of, well, you'll find out. It's a new art movement. The idea is to take the work of other artists and improve them.
Yeah, I've introduced the sheep shagger, and whoever did this painting before did a beautiful job of it. Look, it's lovely with, you know, the oils and beautiful.
Lots of detail
Yeah.
there, isn't it? I
But
mean,
the-
it really
the
is a
subject,
beautiful
yeah.
picture in any
But
respect.
the spade and the skeleton of who was there before. Here.
These are all additions to the picture.
Yeah, and what prior to what?
Oh, I see.
The
There's a reference
subject.
there. There's a reference there to the French painter. The one that, what was the name of the Le Déjeuner sur l'herbe. Yes, that's obviously from the Déjeuner sur l'herbe.
This is the picnic
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
red wine, and this is the after effect of
So you do this with other people's paintings? You specifically
there's one
buy
yeah, there's
paintings?
one on the wall over there. Actually, you want to go into the little house there and have a look at the one on the wall. I can explain that. one to you.
Come and show us that one, because this is obviously going to be very interesting. And by the way, everybody, this painting is going to be for sale, and you can see a description in the text below. Just leave us a comment if you want to buy it. It's a beautiful painting. We're open for offers. So let's have a look at these other ones, Ian. So this is another piece of your artwork.
Well, somebody
Again,
else's
this is sort of
artwork.
like Dada, really, isn't it? Found art, I
Somebody
suppose.
else's artwork. I've just
It's found art. It's found art.
again,
Really.
it's a little bit risque, but
So somebody obviously spent a lot of time working on this painting,
yeah, and I took their clothes off.
and you just. So, yeah, I see. So,
So the idea is they were having coffee.
yeah,
It's done in the style of a sort of Van Gogh-y...
Frenchy sort of
Frenchy,
style, isn't it?
and they learn this thing at art school, and it's fantastic. The beautiful colours in the background. There was no
Very
faces,
sentimental.
but the idea is that the coffee cup has a something that.
Oh, I
that
see. It has a
ladies
little
are
addition.
Yeah,
I missed that.
Yeah. Well,
Very
all,
nice.
all my paintings have little
And
additions.
I would like to have seen this before it had been improved, actually.
Yeah.
But so
Unfortunately, I haven't got pictures. There's lots of them I've done. So I sabotage people's art.
Would you say this landscape looks like an old constable's painting?
Constable.
Yes, what I just said. What's so wrong with you, Parker?
I thought I misheard you there.
No, I wasn't
Constable,
swearing.
yeah. He did like all the.
You just the hay. Was it the hay?
Yeah, the
one?
Haywayne and things. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did paint round this area. Actually, he painted much more around Salisbury, but it's not that far away, is it? I mean, it is his sort of landscape. I mean, the British landscape is
Well, what's
absolutely
Wiltshire
beautiful.
between Hampshire?
Yeah, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Actually, it's amazing to think this is actually not far
Where we live.
from where we live, is it? Really?
In
I
a
mean,
few years, it will be built on houses.
Yeah, when I keep seeing these blocks of houses they keep putting into like countryside like this, I
You
mean,
can
it
feel
just
the
makes
energy
me
here. Can you
angry.
feel the energy? I can
Yeah,
feel
it
the
is. I
energy.
think it's
It's
an old
got-
landscape, isn't
It
it?
feels like, the energy fields, doesn't it? Ley lines. There must be
Yeah.
a ley lines around here. You can feel the
Well,
energy.
it wasn't that far away from here that we found that. What was it called? Crop circle, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you can
wasn't
actually
that
feel
far.
the ley lines. I can feel them.
Yeah,
I can feel the magnetic forces beneath your feet here.
yeah. I think you do feel it.
forces.
I do. I sense it
I
in these
feel it.
areas. I'd love to paint again. Actually, I'd love these areas to paint because I used to enjoy painting.
What are you doing now then, Craig? Doodling.
Yeah, doodling. Actually, most good painting comes from doodling. Actually, I remember I did get accepted into St Martin's Art College, so I must have been pretty bloody good. But
I've never.
but nobody. Yeah, I never heard anybody
I've
so
never
talented
heard,
as me.
I've never
yes.
heard somebody that praises herself so much.
Well, Pal was a good painter. I was a brilliant painter. But the problem is,
You're not a very good house husband, though.
no, but nobody wanted paintings, did they? They all wanted installations,
Yeah,
and they
since-
wanted shock, and they wanted obscene
Well, one of
pictures. And
your
I was painting.
paintings looks like looking down a sewage.
Yeah,
Those
well, I
men
did
peeping up out of
kind of a bit
drains.
surreal, wasn't it? Surrealist
Yeah,
painting, I suppose.
nightmares.
But then I also did a lot of spiritual-minded paintings, sort of like mandalas and things like that. I don't
Well,
know.
I've act-
Painting's coming back, but when I see some of the stuff that
Well,
some
I've
people do,
actually
it's absolutely
made,
fantastic. Got some
I've
more
actually made
artists are doing now.
tapestries and mandalas.
Yeah, well, you're pretty artistic.
I like art.
I think that artistic.
Like Silverism.
I think creativity and psychic things are very, very strongly interlinked.
Yeah, the beauty.
Creative people and people that are psychic are the same thing.
Well,
I mean,
I like that Toya Wilcox because she's quite creative and got good ideas, and where she does all this surreal stuff and that. Very good.
yeah, because you're into it lately, aren't you, with Fripp and all that?
Well, I like creative people, and I like people that are different
Yeah,
because they don't follow the sheep because they're individuals.
I
That's what
liked her. Of course, I gave her that reading, didn't I, that time, on the Psychic Family programme. Very nice girl, actually, very pleasant person.
Yeah.
I don't think so many people know about her now, but I think she in her time she was a big name.
Is that in the 70s and 80s? It's a mystery.
I don't even remember any of her
Yeah,
songs.
a
Actually.
mystery.
Was it?
Yeah. A mystery.
But they started doing lockdown
I don't want to
stuff.
go to school. That one.
Okay. Oh,
I
yeah.
want to break the rules.
Yeah.
It's a
yeah.
mystery. Like she
That's
goes all
it.
like that, doesn't she?
Yeah. I always.
Well, here we are at the seaside. It's quite nice.
Yes.
And so, what do you think about what's going to happen in the coming weeks? I'm doing a video shortly about the long term,
Yeah.
what's going to happen in the world. But what about coming up soon? Have you had any thoughts? What about that Maddie McCain business?
Well, they definitely got the right man, and they're searching down wells and they're looking, digging where he lived. I had a vision. I saw rocks and I saw a cave and I saw a body there. But
So it's not in the well. They were trying the well before, weren't they? And they're
Well,
digging up the
no.
ground now.
Remember, this is a loner. This is a person who likes to travel, hides his identity, and he must have been a waiter or something. So he moves silently and that, because it's always the quiet ones you've got to watch, Craig.
Now, do you think he did it alone, or do you think he was part of a group?
No, I think he done it alone.
And do you think Maddie was killed straight away, or did he take her off? Because I mean, they're looking in Germany now, so he must have carried her off, mustn't he?
Well, funny enough, on that night, someone actually saw a man carrying a child in pyjamas, and because people didn't think anything of it, because you presume it was a father and a child falling asleep, and so, you know, I just feel at the end of the
Pigeon.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, it was something that's done spontaneously. That somebody had been watching the family.
He
And
strike me as a predator that will watch for
well,
people.
that's what I'm saying, and he had a very strange aura and things background, because I think he was adopted and that. So it's as if he wanted to, in his mind, as if, you know, he could. It's all about control with these people, and I think
My friend
and
Kim,
I think he panicked. And I
my
think
friend Kim found it in the
strangled.
Nardi about Madeleine. He looked up Madeleine's Nardi.
Yeah.
I've not read it.
And then said what?
Well, he told me that the Nardi predicted about Madeleine. They were seeing it unfolding in the news,
Yeah.
as it said in the Nardi article.
And she's
But I don't know
definitely
whether
dead.
it said about Germany. I'd love to find out. I'll have to ask him.
Yeah, but this is in Portugal, because he would be going to
Yeah, but
Germany.
they're looking at Germany now. aren't they?
No, but he would be going to Germany and Portugal. But I saw a cave and I saw rocks. Roast beef last night, done it nice. Well, Dad's got peanut butter sandwiches. That's what he wanted. He's done his own.
Peanut butter and beef sandwiches, that doesn't go.
No, plain peanut butter this time. Do you like this spot?
Beautiful.
It's supposed to be haunted though.
We'll find out though, 'cause we're going to go to the church, aren't we?
Doesn't look like a haunted place, does
I
it?
bet it does at night look spooky, but it's all steam. I'd be interested to see where the village part was.
We're sat in it, I think.
Oh my god.
It's quite busy, isn't it, down
Wow. Wow.
Really, it's a fantastic spot for a family picnic, really, isn't it? If you look at it here, looks classic. Do you like it, Damien? Nice, isn't it?
Yeah, wet.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
fantastic.
It's a sandwich.
Oh, he's about the sandwich. I'm talking about what a nice place it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice place. Beautiful view.
So hang on, wait for Nanny to make the scene.
You can't get in. It's got a coast code on it, ghost code.
Take a picture of you, baby.
We're all taking photos of photos.
That hurt.
Does that hurt, he said?
Yeah.
Really?
They hurt.
Probably do hurt. That's interesting, isn't it? Wonder why he thinks that.
That, when one and that one.
I wonder
hurt.
if Damien's got the gift. We never thought about that, have we?
Children hurt. They are children graves.
Children hurt.
Girl.
A girl?
Girl. Oh,
What's he picking up? Is he picking? Are they children's? They are children's graves. Are they? He knows all about them.
there's something going on here.
Did he?
You're standing on someone's grave.
Yeah, you're not supposed to stand on the graves. Did he say there, Danielle? He said.
Something going on here.
He said there's something going on here. But this is someone that's in living memory, isn't it? So we don't really want to show that.
Here.
This what, Damien?
Coffin dance. Oh.
This what?
Coffin dance, the meme.
Coffin dance. But as he know, how does he know about coffins here?
The meme.
Honestly, is that what that song is?
Yeah, it's a meme.
Coffin or coffins?
Coffin dance. It's a meme. You can search it up.
So what's? How does he know that though? He doesn't know anything about graves. He's only 4.
It's only a meme.
Shh, Jane, wait. He's telling us things. Do listen to what he says. He tells you. He's telling us this is where the girl is.
Who's there?
Who's there?
This is where the girl is. He said, go and check if it is a girl's grave. Actually, this is going to be quite interesting. What's there then, Damien?
It's there.
What's in there then?
It's here.
Who's there then?
There.
That's what he was talking about, little girl, wasn't he?
Is that a little girl in there?
Yeah.
What's her name? What's her name?
No, it says it on the grave, does it, Jane? Did he say Ethel?
No, Mum said.
Mum said Ethel, right. I have a trouble to understand his language sometimes, Daniel. Did you understand what he said then?
Something they all hurt.
They all hurt. Chew. Wonder if they died of anything like that. Chew. Don't put your feet on them though. A chew. What's that grave about? It's not empathy. Not Of course, it doesn't tell you how they died, does it? It doesn't tell you how they died, but why did he do a chew by the grave?
There's something here.
Something here. Where's he getting this from?
I'm alive with it, isn't it?
He seems to be sort of. I mean, it's unusual. We've never been in a graveyard before, but. What is it? Small? Or is that the small grave? Oh, I see. You saw the big cross further on and the little cross there, isn't it?
My t-shirt signs the skeleton.
Yeah, you're dressed appropriately, Willow. So what? You just tried the door, couldn't get in.
I tried the door and it said press the entrance button. The door wouldn't open and I heard organ music. Definitely heard music come from there, definitely. And then I had a cold breeze that went round me and then it stopped. It's true.
I had an organ earlier.
Did you hear an organ as well?
Yeah.
You can put your ear by that door, you can hear it.
It doesn't have music playing in there though, does it? Because it's all
I
locked
heard
up.
the music. I did hear music coming.
She can't get in, it's all locked up.
Yeah, because they've had vandals. It's terrible, isn't it?
I'll just take a shot. have a listen. I put my ear to the door, I couldn't hear anything.
Well, it wasn't meant for you, it's meant for me, it's fair.
God's Willow. So, thanks, Willow. So what did you think of that, what he was saying there then? Because it was strange what he was saying, wasn't it?
Well, I found it remarkable. He ran to a very small cross, must have been very old, and he said, little girl in there.
Very poignant looking grave, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was under a tree. And it makes you wonder if it wasn't somebody's grave in the 1800s. Or
We don't know the age, do we? It did look a bit like a child's grave.
Yeah.
Because he said the little girl's here, didn't he? 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, and he
we
kept
didn't even
running
tell
around
him that there were people under the ground. It's the first time he's been in the
saying,
graveyard.
no nanny, no nanny, not to go near it.
Strange, isn't it? Unless he's seen something on YouTube or something like that, you know, because they obviously must have graves and things on, you know, cartoons and things like that. Yeah. So maybe he's seen something.
I think he's got a bit of savants.
I think he's got some sort of unusual insights that most people haven't got. I mean, look at him ordering things online from Japan at 4 years old.
I know, it's brilliant.
So it's a certain gift to him there. It's strange.
Actually,
you can't be certain.
I remember we went to a church when we went on a cruise to Spain, and you could hear all organ music playing. Do you remember that place where we had those nice coffees?
Yeah.
And that.
Anyway, it was an interesting day, wasn't it?
Yeah, I loved it.
It was really interesting.
I'd come here again. Oh look, I'm talking horse riding, there's some riders.
Where are they? Oh yeah, I see them. Oh yeah,
we
they're nice,
where
aren't they?
we live, aren't we?
Incredible. Again, this isn't that far from where we live, is it? Fancy that, there we are talking about horse riding and they come along. I say, can you ride in the New Forest? Because
Yes.
all the wild, there are ponies here, all wild horses.
Well,
people,
some of them are marked.
they're all owned.
They used to have horse sales in the New Forest because my father used to come and buy some.
Yeah, they used to, they round them all up once a year, don't they?
Yeah.
So what, your father used to buy horses here?
Well, we had 7 horses, and one I used to have a martingale on, because they throw their heads back and kick out the back and everything. And I think horses, when we talk about psychic things, they pick up your energy and they sense if anything's wrong.
Of course, they have horse whisperers, don't they? That's also. I don't know quite what they mean by horse whisperer. Does a horse whisperer sort of connects with the horse and calms it down, like communicates with the animal?
Well, they're meant to talk to them, aren't they? But I mean, it's like dressage in that if you work.
But they don't talk. They don't talk to them on a clairvoyant level, do they? A horse whisperer.
They're whispering.
They just talk to them, don't they?
Well, any horses pick up things, don't they? And
I've always found horses to be very sensitive animals when it comes to connecting with people. I love horses. I think they're beautiful creatures.
Yeah, well, cows are nice too. We used to have a cow too called Daisy.
Did you?
Ducks, chickens.
I'd like to be riding those horses now. That would be rather nice.
Yeah. When you first get back into horse riding, you get saddle sore. What you ought to do is get all humans naked and let the horses run after them.
Yeah, perhaps we should hunt landed gentry. Yeah, send them all off naked and we're chasing with foxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horrible, isn't that?
Oh. Yeah.
Bit. I walked a fair old distance just to see what I could find there. They got a path that runs all the way through there. That never used to be there, and it goes to all the places that were our secret places, kids.
All right.
Where we used to hide away. There's all beautiful little rivers there, and
there's no secret no more then.
No, it's loaded with tourists.
There's a campsite there. That's why.
Yeah, I know. It's still very beautiful. Really lovely
Is there
little
a
rivers.
stream?
There's a stream with where we used to play poo sticks, and there was an area there because I hid when Celeste was little. I came out here and hid Pooh Bear and Eeyore and Piglet. Put Piglet in a tree, put Eeyore in a wooden house, and because when nobody was around here, then we went out looking for Pooh and Piglet and found them.
Was she excited?
Yeah, she was really excited. So that was all over there. In fact, there was a little house that looked like Eeyore's house. So it reminded me of it.
Sweet.
Oh well, change.
Yeah, it's all, I am. It's all muddy. I've been jumping over rivers and
I thought you
did you
were-
see me leaping? I thought this is where I'm going to land flat on my face.
I thought it was a cow pat. That's you
No,
tried
I
to
jumped a
avoid.
river. There's a river over there.
You
that's
jumped
right.
a river?
Yeah, a little tiny stream, but you have to run at it.
You could never jump a river.
Yeah, you had to run at it to get over, and it's muddy on the other side.
You mean a little stream,
So I thought
not
I was
a river.
well, yes, a thundering
You
river.
exaggerate.
Well, I have done the rivers of the world.
Yeah.
I've been down the Ganges,
You haven't
white
done the
raft.
Amazon?
No, I've done the Ganges in a white river rafting thing.
Well, if you were stupid enough to do it.
It was, and it tipped over on some group.
God, how silly is
Yeah,
that?
they were swimming down the Ganges thinking they were going to die.
God,
They had
that's
no
dangerous.
safety equipment
Well, that's
whatsoever.
ridiculous, isn't it?
Absolutely
It's
nothing.
irresponsible.
They had nothing. No, wearing no. Well, we had a source of safety
Like what?
floater thing, but it was useless, and it had nothing to grab onto. So when the raft goes down the river, you got nothing to hold on to. Nothing. You're just sat on a sort of a rubber dinghy thing, and the great rocks looming up. You know, it was a full-on thing. It was good fun, but bloody terrifying. I did that a few years. I did that a few years ago. That's when I went with the yoga group and Steve to Rishikesh. Exciting.
Didn't you come back stinking too?
Yeah, God, didn't I?
I washed
Bloody
your
hell,
clothes
that's
3
true.
times. In the end, I said, chuck them away. It's like you brought the Ganges River back
Yeah,
home.
that was before the days of having these sort of digital cameras. I filmed bits of it, but not much. Yeah, it was exciting though.
That's one excitement I could do without. I can think better exciting things. It was really good, don't you? I didn't even know they'd done all this time.
it's nice. Yeah, definitely. I feel like walking the coast when I see all this. I like to walk the coast of the Isle of Wight over there too.
What, like Jesus across the sea?
Not across the water. I did it with my friend though. We took what was it, Waitrose or something. Wainwright's guide. Waitrose guide. Went to all the food shops. No, Wainwright.
Even surfing, looking at surfers, you're thinking of food.
The Wainwrights. We took an old Victorian guy called Wainwright. We took his guide
That's a bit
and see if we
different
could
than
follow the same
Waitrose.
path, and we did. We followed it, and we actually found all the places he mentioned are still there from the Victorian times. And some of them have been turned into ice cream parlours.
Yeah, talking about it. Let's go and find a tea parlour.
Okay, shall we do that now then?
Yeah, let's go.
Trees.
There's rustic peppers and they make chutney here, the monks as well.
Do they?
Yeah, chutney. And they've got organic farm shop. So like making
This would be
soups.
Catholic then, wouldn't it?
It's not Catholic.
I would have thought by the architecture, because it reminds me of St Boniface
They
Church.
have the cappuccino monks and things. What different
Cappuccino monks.
No,
They sound good. Latte monks.
We certainly don't have crazy monks.
The
that's for
latte,
sure.
the latte day saints, or the cappuccino monks.
You know what I mean? In Italy, they have them. They do actually.
What, the espresso
and
monks?
monkeys.
Yeah.
Named after that. Very ignorant man, you know. Very ignorant man. Likes to be knowledgeable, but not as quite as me.
Cappuccino monks. I know what you're trying to get to. I can't remember.
Well, what is it then?
I can't
Come on then.
I
You
can't-
can't laugh at somebody and
I
not say
can't
what it
remember.
is.
I'm pretty sure it's not cappuccino monks or latte day saints.
I didn't say that. You said that. That's
Or-
saints. Crazy man.
But you want to find a coffee shop up here, it's actually.
No, the farm shop.
Well, it's on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
You were close with the name of the people here. It was, what does it say? It said they were called the Cistercian monastery. That is the Abbey of Croix.
Right.
And apparently the Cistercian order, and it was something here about it's 1912 reconstructed, because there used to be a sort of a ruin here. They pulled it all down and made Cowes Harbour with it and things, and other stately homes nearby. And then one of the most important 20th century religious structures. Sir Nicholas Pervert describes the abbey. Oh,
Nicholas Pervert.
Perversener. Sorry.
Oh, pervert. I was going to say.
Perverse is described as among the most
No
daring
wonder
and
it's in
successful.
ruins.
Yeah. So that's what happened to it. It was torn down. It was a quarry nearby. That's why it's quar, like quarry. Quarry. And then it was torn down during the dissolution of the monasteries. And yes, and it's, there's another one called Sodomites Abbey. Solsomies Abbey. Solsomies Abbey. I misread it slightly.
Gosh.
And they sent a monk back to England to look for a house to shelter the community. That was in 1880.
Didn't you say they are advertising for young men to do a retreat?
It says the advertising. It's true. It does as a sign up. So goodness knows what goes on here. Yeah, that's about it. There's a whole load of. Basically, it was, the old abbey was torn down. This one was built in 1912, and it's built on. You know, when we came in, you said it looked a bit like a. We were talking. It looks like a bit of a fortress and things like that. Well, it was built on a combination of styles between, sort of like, you know, like we saw in Spain, Moroccan type of influence.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Moorish, don't they?
Yeah.
Moorish. So that's it. So there you go. That's what it's all about.
Gosh.
Well, this is a nice place, isn't it?
It's beautiful. It must be near trees. Because we've got the autumn thing to begin now.
The colours are starting to change.
Oh, look at that lovely tree with the colours.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's a photo.
Quite an interesting
It's like
colour.
going into the enchanted forest.
You can talk.
It makes a change, doesn't it? It's lovely to be here today because you can feel all the vibrant colours and the energy of the trees, and it's wonderful just to get outside and clear your mind, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm surprised they got seals and penguins.
Well, they've got you, haven't they? That's
Of
an
course, that's
oddity.
off camera, isn't it?
That's an oddity. It's absolutely stunning here.
So this place was owned by the Rothschilds once, wasn't it?
Yes, and I actually knew a man called Mr. Strange that actually used to buy all these plants from him.
Sure that's not an imaginary friend.
No, it's not an imaginary friend.
Actually, I remember Mr. Strange. He was a nice man. He used to
Yeah.
come and want to find out all about his past lives, didn't he?
Yeah, we found it actually.
He came to me first, I remember, and I told him that he'd been in Israel and the the Arca,
Right.
right? And he'd been involved with Salomon and things like that. I said to him.
Well, actually.
And then did you say the same sort of thing?
No, I didn't. I went right
Apparently,
back.
you'd done all the research on it.
I went right back in past lives to the 14th century, and then I said he had to go to Brittany in France, and I saw the word Lestrange go on a tombstone which linked up to Knights of the Templars, and actually he went there and he actually found the tombstone.
Yeah, he said to me that he'd done the research and he'd also been. That would have been a similar era of the Crusades, wouldn't it? I don't know when were the Crusades. I can't remember. But it was interesting because he used to go to all the psychics just to ask them about
Not
his
all of
past.
them.
Well, lots of people, but he'd been to people I know before me, and then on to you and the rest of it. And he came to you for lots of years, didn't he?
Well, for the
And
last 15 years.
he spent his time going to all the psychics to find out his past life. Of course, he's dead now.
Well, he died last
you know,
June.
You'll know now.
Yeah, he was a lovely man, and he started off by horse and cart, by selling plants and selling seeds, and then he expanded, and then he ended up having his own nursery, which was quite a big nursery at Waterlooville.
So he bought his stuff from the Rothschilds here sometimes,
Yes,
didn't he?
yeah,
This
Eddie.
is all mainly
From Eddie Rothschild's.
This is all mainly azaleas and rhododendrons. Yeah. All the problem is it's not in bloom at the moment, but it's still a nice place, isn't it? Because it's an arboretum as well.
Yeah, and he used to tell me that his friend with the Rothschilds, Mr. Eddie, as he's known, would only sell his plants to him. To start
He wasn't
him
the
off.
man that told us about
Helen Duncan.
Helen Duncan's,
Yes, he was.
because he said his father was it, or was his grandfather?
No, it was a
his
friend of the family. It was a policeman, and he had to raid Helen Duncan's trance and physical mediumship.
So that was illegal in before
And-
1954. It's
yeah.
completely illegal. You'd
And
be
it was
arrested under witchcraft laws.
It was in Chelsea, and they actually went to raid it because she'd given secrets in the wartime to what ships went down, and
The Barnum.
and they wanted to arrest her. Really, it's for security reasons and everything. And he said his friend, the policeman, went in and actually put his hand through this ectoplasm. Ectoplasm is like, comes from the physical medium's body, and it's like a snotty sort of thing. And this policeman actually put his hand through it, and he was so shocked, but he had to do his duty. And because poor Helen Duncan was quite a biggish lady, I believe, Scottish.
But he saw that ectoplasm as
Yeah,
real, didn't he? That was on the
absolutely.
police raid. It wasn't some form of cheesecloth
No.
or anything like that. I mean, this was a first-hand. Well, no, so he was. What was his relationship to the policeman? I thought it was his granddad.
No, it wasn't. It's a friend of the family, and the same policeman used to protect the two princesses,
yeah.
Margaret and Elizabeth. And his father was friend of the mayor of
Okay, yeah, because I know he was a
Portsmouth.
very credible witness to
and
that.
he actually used to play with the princesses when he was little, because I remember
Yeah.
him telling me that.
A lot of strange things happened around Helen Duncan. I mean, some of the stuff you see of the photographs that Helen Duncan's
Look like cheesecloths.
they look complete fakes, don't they? Some of them look complete fakes. And I spoke to, I think it was Laurie Sayers at the, he's dead now too, at the Portsmouth Spiritualist Church, and he had a lot of contact with Helen Duncan's relatives and things like that. And he was saying that, I think he said to me once, I said, the problem with her that she used to do the real thing, but then people would be queuing up to come and see her seances, and she had to deliver the goods whether she had it or not. They'd pay sixpence, which was a lot of money in those days.
Well, I don't really think about that.
Yeah, and he reckoned that sometimes she cheated and sometimes she didn't. And of course the problem is when she cheated, it undermined everything else she
Discredits
did.
them.
It discredited the whole lot.
Yeah.
So she can't be counted as proof. So it's arrived then, the ice cream maker.
Yes, I'm really pleased with it. It's got a Japanese plug, and guess what? It's fabulous flavours, all in ice cream, but it's all in Japanese. I saw.
One of my favourite. Oh, it's easy. Just follow the instructions. Oh, you do it. I'll tell you for you. So here we go. Wow, George, I could just saw. Oh, hold on, get your ice cream. Hey. So it's very simple. Very simple. That's teach us to buy things off Amazon, doesn't it? So I'm assuming actually that plug, Jane. That's a Japan. We're going to have to get a Japanese to English conversion plug before we can use the bloody
But
thing.
it's no problem. All I have to do is get a Japanese man to come in and translate for me.
In fact, actually, I've heard with some of these, some of them have a little tiny Japanese man inside. No, that one doesn't. No.
And
Well.
I've been waiting for 6 weeks
No
for
wonder.
this to make ice creams ready for dinner parties, and it's in Japanese.
No wonder it took so bloody long to
It
arrive.
actually
And
arrived.
I had to pay import tax on it. So, there, be warned, Amazon. We got it from Amazon, didn't we?
Yeah.
Be warned, Amazon. Do not buy Japanese. Ha! Sayonara! Sayonara!
I saw.
So, what have we got now for dinner?
I asked my husband what he liked for tea. We're going from Japanese to Italiano. Buonissimo!
Bellissimo, bellissimo.
Ah.
Hey, we have a
Grazie.
see pizza.
Oh la la. Oh, that's French. Buonissimo.
Oh,
Oh,
you also
mamma
said
mia,
Spanish.
mamma mia.
Hola.
Mamma mia, that's Spanish.
Yeah,
Mamma
we-
mia, mamma mia.
Bit of a
Wow,
bigger
this
pizza.
is so nice. Yeah?
So where's the pineapple?
That is in Cuba. That'll be next.
You don't want too much.
Don't eat too much. That's enough. Lovely.
You want some cranberries on it?
Well, you got some on there.
Thank you.
I like this. This is nice. It tastes nice with that
I like the crust
stuff you
you
put
put.
on it.
Yeah, I made apricot and Rebecca.
Works.
Yeah, that's look good actually.
Jane's trying to
Long.
really going for it with the cooking nowadays.
Anybody else want some wine?
No, we've got none alcoholic. You have it. There's 2 bottles and some white down there. And pink.
You couldn't pass the butter, Willow, could you please?
Please, don't worry. Can you 2 hands, Willow?
Thanks.
Who's Peter? Come here. He's worried about Boozy.
Oh, he's upsetting the thing.
Who's that little elf there? Your Father Christmas come? Was he excited? Did you take photos of him?
Videos. Especially when he sort of trains.
Oh, that's nice. And